Awesome!
That makes... turnaround.
Exile, do something!
My excitement is getting better. Resist the assault.
Will be endless.
Hey guys, Speedoz here, and today I bring you a new video about a custom crit Ice Spear using the Occultist Ascendancy, which was very nice to play. And if you've never played a CoC build before, I highly suggest you to watch this video that is on your screen, that talks about basically the most important information about any CoC build, which is the breakpoints. And after watching that, I will talk about the build. So all you have to do here is to use your Cyclone, and your Cyclone is an attack skill. Whenever you attack and crit, you'll cast a spell. In this case, we are using the Ice Spear skill, which is literally an ice spear, and it takes very advantage from the crit strikes. So it is very easy. You will be using Cyclone all the time, and you'll keep holding your Vortex as well. You'll never have any mana problems, mana issues, because our mana regen is very high in this build. And as soon as you spend some mana, because of the Occultist Ascendancy, you will be regenerating the power charges very easily, especially when mapping. You will see that they will go up very fast, so you'll never have problems regarding this. Also, our Cyclone mana cost is 1, and with this mana regen, it is very easy to play as well. You'll be using the Ice Golem eventually to increase the global accuracy and also the crit from the build. And if you never played this build, you'll see how easy it is when you're playing. On the video's description, I have some very relevant information about the build for your Pantheon, Bennett's Ascendancy Order, some leveling recommendations for your gear. You'll be using a Stormblast Chain Mine until level 44, where you can play the CoC build by using the Widowmaker weapon along with the Lycosidae shield, which will grant you 100% hit chance. Having 100% hit chance, crit chance on this build is very important for you to balance your attack speed regarding the breakpoints that you saw on the previous CoC video. And also here on at the bottom left, on the tree section, you'll see some recommendations for your leveling. But honestly, for this sort of build, people usually have 100+ X to spend, because it is a bit tricky to balance all the crit, hits, and attack speed regarding the breakpoints. And also, it is a lot more fun to play a CoC build when you have lots of currency to put into. Okay, but I have still some recommendations for your leveling right here. And for your skills, we are going to be using a 6-link CoC Ice Spear, a 3-link on our crossbow regarding Freezing Pulse, great multiple projectiles for our clear speed. You can use Power Charge on crits in order to regenerate these more easily, but I usually go with Frostbomb because it increases our damage by a lot against bosses. As you can see here, about 4 million damage on the Ice Spear for a Storm. On our Flamey Dash 4-link, we have also Vortex with Arcane Surge for the 100% uptime of Arcane Surge. A 3-link aura on our shield. It is very important for these gems to be in the shield, so you can reserve the life accordingly in order to be low life. We also have a 4-link aura setup with Heart of Ice, Summon Ice Golem, Anomalous Precision in order to have a little bit more mana free, so you can play more comfortably. And also a Vow Righteous Fire. You'll never be using the regular Righteous Fire, only the Vow version, in order to have more damage against bosses. A 3-link Curse that could be linked with a regular Blasphemy. Doesn't necessarily need to be an Awakened one with Portal Gem. And also Assassin's Mark on our ring. On this gear, I spend 150 Exalts, but obviously you don't necessarily need this amount. For example, I spend 25x on this cosplay with additional proj. So if you get a regular cosplay, which will make your build works perfectly fine, you will save about 24x. You obviously don't need these boots. Also, these boots was a regular boots that I made to play as any build basically. If you get a better one with cooldown and some energy shield and movement speed, you'll save about, I don't know, maybe 30 exalts. So already on those two pieces you'll be saving 50x. So it's all about how you make your build, so don't worry about the investment. We are also using a Prism Guardian because of the aura and the reduced mana reservation. I'm using a Hubris that I crafted with Ice Spear enchant. I elevated the Cold Res. Nearby I have Cold Res with and then Awakener, but with the maximum power charges. Luckily I hit a tier 1 global accuracy rating. I would be also looking for a tier 1 or a tier 2 maybe flat accuracy because of the 100% hit chance on the Cyclone. And then I crafted some ES, but if I were you and have a little bit more currency, I would definitely get a Hubris with 250 plus energy shield, which will be a lot better. Also a boots with a lot more energy shield. Mine has only 70 right here. A Sorcerer Gloves, which I bought for a 5x, was this has some dexterity because of the cosplay, a very nice flat accuracy rating and some energy shield. A Chevron to not allow the chaos damage bypass the energy shield, along with a Presence of Chayula, which I used the Catalyst in order to increase the maximum life converted to energy shield, and also anointed the Tranquility Node, which has the Transfiguration of Soul property, which is very nice for this build. I'm using a Circle of Fear with increased cold damage and increased buff effect of Heart of Ice with some increased energy shield. And this ring I bought with Assassin's Mark, Cold Res, and Intelligence. I crafted a suffix not be changed, used Reforge Cold and hit the tier 1 cold damage spells and attacks, which was very fortunate with some increased energy shield. And then the last piece was the channeling skills have minus mana cost crafts on our prefix open in order to have a more comfortable play style with the CoC Ice Spear, which was very nice. I'm using the Headhunter, and even with Headhunter, I made sure that I had the perfect stat on the first breakpoint of the build. But if you could definitely replace this one with a Crystal Belt Crusader influence with some increased maximum energy shield from your body armor, increased maximum ES, some flat ES, and some increased cooldown recovery rate, which would be a lot better in terms of offense and defense against bosses when you don't have the rare modifiers. I'm just using the Headhunter because I find it a lot more fun to play while mapping, and because some people sometimes ask for Headhunter builds. So there you go, another option for you to use. But along with this crystal belt that could replace the Headhunter, you could also use a cooldown recovery speed boots. So you could hit the last breakpoint, which would increase your build's damage by a huge amount. So there you go, another recommendation. For the flex, I would definitely use a Bottle's Faith because of the crit chance. A Dying Sun, it increases the damage by a lot, as you can see, 9 million here, only because of the 2 additional prods, which is very nice. The Diamond Flask, immune to curses, it is very important while mapping. We don't 100% need a immune to cold or chill because of our ascendancy, which is very nice as well. I'm using a Cinder Swallow with crit strike chance because of the survivability when mapping, and also because of the crit chance. And the Quicksilver, it is very nice for our movementation while mapping. I'm using a Watcher's Eye with the most important node for any energy shoot CoC builds, in my opinion, which is the ES gained by each enemy hit while affected by discipline. On the second modifier, I would get, if you can, and if you have the currency, a flat cold damage or penetrates cold res while affected by your hatred, or maybe penetrates elemental res while affected by zealotry. If you have even more currency and you want to min-max the build, I would definitely get a crit chance by hatred, so you could replace some of our cluster jewels that we are using in order to cap the crit chance of the build. But honestly, those Watcher's Eyes would cost, I don't know, maybe probably higher than 50 exalt. So it's really when you're about to min-max the build, okay? For the this socket here, I would use a Transcendent Flash Crimson Jewel. You could be using also a Inspired Learning in order to have some of the Headhunter effects in order to simulate it if you don't have the currency for the Headhunter yet. But you would definitely need these 5 points here because of these 2 notables in order to the Inspired Learning to work. So it's really up to you, of your preference. I'm using a Militant Faith, which needs to be influenced by the High Templar Dominus on the first modifier there. The numbers right there doesn't have a direct correlation regarding its benefits from the jewel. All you have to care is the influence of the Dominus, and also the 2 modifiers that you can actually buy or drop, which could be increased elemental damage per 10 devotion, or even effect of non-damaging ailments per 10 devotion as well, because these small nodes here become devotion nodes. So it's really up to you. On the Thread of Hope, I'm getting a large ring here. Many people use this as well in order to get these Breath of Rime, Heart of Ice, Snow Forged, Arcane Focus, and Deep Wisdom. Very nice energy shield nodes and some cold nodes there because of the Thread of Hope jewel. And for the cluster jewels, I'm getting a large cluster with Blast Freeze and Prismatic Heart mainly because of the resistances, and also because this freeze spreads to other enemies within a radius of 12, which makes the survivability a little bit better while mapping. But if you have the currency, I would definitely get something like this. Because of the Blanketed Snow, it is an amazing node that penetrates 10% cold against chilled enemies. Disorient and Display because it gives us blind as well. Prismatic Heart because of the elemental res. One medium cluster has Master of Fear and Wish for Death because of the unnerved property, and also the Culling Strike against cursed enemies. The medium cluster has Basics of Pain and Pressure points, on those 3 medium clusters here in order to cap our crit chance. But like I told you, if you have the Watcher's Eye that has the attack save crit chance while affected by hatred, it would be a lot better, because then you could replace these ones with some other cluster jewels. I didn't go into them, but probably it will be a lot better for your damage, even replacing this flat amount of cold damage right here of the hatred. Okay, on the small cluster jewels, I went for 2 with 2 passive skills and energy from knots in order to get a little bit more of energy shield, because before those I was having around 5k ES, and it's very low amount. After those I am having 6.3k, but definitely if you get better equipment on your helmet, on your boots, and if you replace the Headhunter, you would easily hit more than 7k ES, maybe 8k even. Or if you made some changes here, if you get this node here, or maybe this node here, or maybe even more energy shield modifiers, because honestly we don't necessarily lack of damage at all. So it would certainly be possible for you to get more defensive modifiers if you want to. Okay, so all this relevant information is on the PoB description. Overall speaking, even with this huge investment that I made into this build, I had lots of fun to play. I'm level 97 right now. I was level 96, but depending on the modifiers that you may be running on your maps, such as 100% Delirium, or I don't know, all sorts of incredible damage that could happen from these crazy mobs on this game, with 6.3k you will die sometimes. So I will definitely, if I'm min-maxing this build, I will definitely go for higher ES equipments and even get the other Watcher's Eye, so I could maybe invest even more into my energy shield. Definitely would go for the 3rd breakpoint, because it would be amazing to see how incredible, how high this damage could be with all the min-maxed stuff. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. What's this? A real challenge.
You finally caught my attention.
Your lives are meaningless.
Get Jim. Esse buff soma, mano. O Watcher's Eye é do Crit Chance. Como assim? From what of it?
They became reliant.
Itself.
Like, really interesting enough to warrant all this pain.
I have seen beyond.
Die.
When I'm ready and not before.
Why fun? What's the point? Por que fun, hein? Vou meter o louco, ver se faço torneio shot em Impale, ver qual é essa skill. Force. Mas de Corrupting Fever, mano, acho que deve ser mais nice hoje.